And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello and welcome to the Weighing In podcast. We have all kinds of fights to go over, and we're a little bit late because my man, the real Punk, was traveling with his son's lacrosse team, which is more important than this podcast. So that's just the way it is. He got home late because he follows GPS rules, and they put him the wrong way. You idiot! You're supposed to know what route you're supposed to go. You're supposed to know this highway takes me east.
John, I've driven all up and down the West Coast. I mean, from Canada to BC, all the way down to Arizona. I know the whole California, like West Coast highways.
Oh yeah,
I got in the middle of the country, and
you don't know dick about the middle of the country.
Anything. I was like, someone's like, "Oh yeah, you took the 25, you took the 87." I was like, I have no clue, man.
What?
So
Route 66.
Yeah,
baby.
we were on Route 66 also. We were there as well. You know, it was actually not a bad trip, about 11 and a half hours, something like that. I just got mad on the way back. It ended up taking me longer because I exited for gas. It takes me back on the freeway. I'm driving 30 minutes, and all of a sudden I hear my son.
Yeah, but are you going in the same direction?
Yes, I was going in the same direction. No, the thing is right where I exited for gas, I was supposed to go down a little back road, apparently, that took me out to a different highway. And I didn't catch on to that, but it had me getting back on the freeway. And all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, my son's like, "Why is there two blue lines on the GPS?" He's like, "It's telling you to make a U-turn." And I was like, "Son of a bitch. It is telling me to make a U-turn."
Hold on. It took an 8-year-old to tell you.
Yes. Because I was just cruising, you know, kids are chilling.
Man. Father's Day driving.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep. Father's Day driving. So, man, they played so well, man. I was so happy. We played a game on Friday night. We got there Thursday night, played Friday night. They were down 6-2 going after the half. They rallied, came back. They ended up tying it up 7-7. Yeah, 7-7 right before, with like 2 minutes left. Tied it up, went into overtime. They had to do like one extra overtime of like 5 minutes. And they score within 2 minutes. Boom. Did well, man. It was good for the kids to fight back like that. So it was good. You could see they were down when they were down 6-2. They were like, "God, I don't know. It's halftime. I don't know." And they came back and did it. And then the next two games, they built off that confidence. They won the next two games pretty handily. They woke up on Sunday. They just seemed lethargic. I don't know. Altitude, maybe Denver. I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses for them. But they looked slow and sluggish out there on Sunday morning. I was like, it wasn't a good game. So, but then they played hard in the that was the semifinals. They played hard for third and fourth. They came up short on that one too, but it was a tight game. But you know, they got some learning to do. You know, this is the first year that they've been together as a team, a full year.
Part of it, man.
So they're doing pretty well, man. He really enjoys it. He loves the teammates. You know, the parents are really good. You know, it's good to be around good parents and stuff. So it's been fun. It's been a good experience. Good. How was your Father's Day?
It was just me working on my house. Hey, I got to get it done. Yes. So there is no days off. If I'm not doing the show here, or having to do a field or the PFL thing, I am with my saws and with my freaking nail guns, and I'm building things. But it's coming out good. It looks good.
Making progress?
Oh yeah.
What are we thinking?
I'll show you.
What are we thinking? Like September, October? What are we thinking?
Oh, no. I'll be moved in by the end of July.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They won't be all the rooms won't be done, but the flooring will be done. All the painting will be done. All the the kitchen stuff will be in, so I can move.
Man, you got to hire some farm hands, man. Get them to handle the farm, and you can handle the house. You got to be tired of living in a fifth wheel.
Oh, my dude, I'm tired. I'm tired of listening to the old lady talk about it. Jeez.
But I heard how you guys came across the fifth wheel, not without getting into it too personally, but I heard how you guys came across the fifth wheel and how it's kind of saved you though for having it now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what did you hear? How I came across?
Well, how you guys ended up with the fifth wheel? Oh, I bought it. Yeah, you bought it. But did you buy it for yourself or did you?
No,
that's what I was talking about. So okay, but you ended up with the fifth wheel, And
did.
luckily now that's kind of
I had friends that were going to kind of do the same thing, and I said, look, I'll buy the thing, and that way you can take it and have it, and that way you can do what you're going to do. And then they decided, no, we're going to stay where we're at. I was like, okay, it's all good.
Jeez, that's an expensive change of mind there.
Yeah, well.
But it worked out though. Because now you actually have a bed to sleep.
It's worked. Yeah, it's worked out. Except now I'm getting tired of listening to my significant other complain about her living space and no closets, no storage, no this and no that. It's hot.
Tell her to get out there with a hammer and start putting that house together.
Oh, dude, you know how much that would set me back all the way to freaking November.
Oh, jeez,
not good. Not good at all.
Oh man. Well, hey, hopefully you had a happy Father's Day. I know I was driving and games in the morning and stuff, but you had texted me later and I got you back later. But man, I hope everyone had a happy Father's Day. Everyone listening to the podcast, I hope you guys all spent time with your family and your friends, and got a chance to really enjoy being around your kids.
My wife got me a really cool gift, and I'm not even her father. So, but she really did.
What did she get you?
I should show you. It's a painting. Mm-hmm. And it's like the signs you'll get from it'll say Hawaii 200 and some miles there thing, but this is like a street sign thing, and it's got all my kids and grandkids names on it with their date of birth going down. All the way down. It's pretty cool.
It's just like a big poster.
It's a big painting. Okay. It's a big it's on a canvas.
Do the arrows point in the direction that they live? Oh,
nope, they do not. They're just all kind of cockeyed.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my daughter made me something from school, and then my son. It's just a thing for the boys, right? All the boys woke up and we were all having breakfast with the dads, and they're all like, "We're going to score for you guys today," and then they had a horrible game. I was like, "Don't put any pressure on yourselves, guys. Like, don't do it. Don't do it."
Well, they're trying to put it out there, and it just didn't quite work.
I was like, "Just go out there and have fun, man. Let's do the best we can. Let's go out there and have fun." All right, but hey, man, we had some fights to talk about. The travel was good this week, and
we had some weird stuff going on, but there was a ton of fights.
There was a ton of fights.
Ton of fights.
All right, but look, this is how we normally do this show, you guys. Just so we're all clear, okay? Look, whatever show comes first is the one we normally first talk about. So I want to make sure, because I saw a bunch of people in the comments. Why are you guys leading with PFL and Bellator? It's not because
it was Thursday.
It's because they came on Thursday. Like, honestly, I've already kind of forgot about who was the main event. It happened so long ago. So it's like, we also don't want to film on a Friday and drop a show on Friday, Saturday, because those shows never do as well as they do on a Sunday or a Monday. So we wanted to let you guys know. Look, we're going to talk PFL first, and then we're going to go right into the UFC, and we'll kind of fart around with some other little stuff too for fun. But then,
there's a lot of stuff to fart around.
There is a lot of stuff to fart around with. Yeah.
There was a lot of boxing stuff going on too.
Oh, what's going? What do you got with that?
Well, you got Gervonta Davis. He had a beautiful knockout. I want to say it was the 8th round.
Okay.
Dude,
I didn't see it.
He's got power.
I didn't see it.
He's got power.
Did you see the release footage of him and Haney sparring?
Yes, I did. It's pretty impressive.
If somebody else had watched that before Haney's last fight, you could see what the kryptonite was right there on the spot. He just can't fight off of his back foot. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk a little bit about that.
But going forward, he was looking good.
Yeah, he was. He looked like a rock star going
throughout
forward.
The whole thing.
Yeah, he looked like a rock star going forward. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's go ahead and start off. Before we get started, here's a message from our sponsors.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
All right, guys. Hey, man, thanks so much. Thanks for the BetUS. And you guys continue to follow them. Check them out. Check the link down below. Look, 125% on your first 3 deposits there. Can't miss that. Can't mess that up, man. Let's go. Get out there. John and I give you guys our betting odds. And normally we're 100% right all the time. So I want to just go ahead.
100%
right.
100%. I did pretty good on the PFL show.
Did you?
I did.
Pretty good. It's funny. I seem to have a little bit more success with the PFL Bellator shows.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe because you know the fighters better.
I do know them a little bit better. I know them personally, like a lot more of them personally. Yeah. And then also too, the new generation of UFC guys that are coming up, because my generation, my generation,
they're definitely not.
They're
our
kind of
generation.
on their way out, or they've already left.
Yes.
So
no, they've already hit that door.
why do you have to rub it in? Why?
Not rubbing it in, dude. Not only did they hit that door for my generation, they hit that door and now they're hitting the fucking grave.
Hitting the grave now.
All
right, hey, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the PFL. The main event, Vassell versus Valentin Moldavsky.
Look, this is a trilogy, and it was actually a good fight. There was the one moment where Moldavsky did get hurt in this fight, but this was a pick'em fight as far as the way that it went down, because you could say that Moldavsky won the first one, he got knocked out in the second one. That was the big question, and so it ended up in a split decision. Yeah. It was that close. It really was. It was a matter of what you liked more and stuff. Which guy was doing more. I was fine with Vassell winning. I would have been fine with Valentin Moldavsky winning. No one could get upset with the outcome or the judge's decision on it.
Yeah, it was a back and forth battle. Look, it just what we talked about last week is they just don't know which Vassell is going to show up.
That's
the
it.
one that
you really
the
don't.
one that digs deep, the one that pushes hard in the second and third round, or the one that just kind of
that was it.
Yeah,
because the first round it was all Valentin Moldavsky.
Yep. But then you saw Vassell's last fight though. He was exhausted after a round. Just didn't look like he could get going. It didn't seem like there's no sense of urgency to get up off the bottom. Just nothing there. And in this fight, he dug deep and was able to have success.
And that's always one I don't know, and I'm not saying like I have any idea because I don't. But the way that Linton fought that last fight against Goltsov was the exact thing you see is when someone's on an antibiotic. The way that he just fell off the cliff, gassed out, dying, as far as his ability to continue on in the fight. That's really what it was. It looked like a guy that, was on an antibiotic or something like that, because you see it all the time with people gassing in that fashion, because he's in shape. Yeah. The guy's fucking just put together like a Greek god. So I don't know. It's one of those things you'll never know, but it kind of looked that way after seeing him go the 3 rounds, and he was tired here, but he kept going, and so weird.
But he doesn't make the playoffs though. No, he misses out on the playoffs. Moldavsky's in. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm still trying to kick this cough. I feel better, but the cough is still there.
Cough is still there.
So you've got Moldavsky's in. Very close though for him to get in, right?
Yeah, you got to figure that he had 6 points in the first round. That's all he ended up with. So he dropped down. I think Goltsov ends up being the guy in the heavyweight division with the most points. He ends up being number 1, and Moldavsky ends up being somewhere around number 3, I think, because 2 and 3 would be Popov and Moldavsky. They'll end up fighting each other, even though they're teammates, which is kind of weird because Popov has not been there that long. He's not been with Team Fedor. I'm sure they'll split it, and stuff, but you'll see Fedor in Moldavsky's corner. Yeah, unless he decides to not be in anyone's corner.
And what about Tyrell Fortune? Didn't get in?
No, he got 3 points. He couldn't finish Marcelo Golm. He almost had him out.
Did.
But wasn't able to do it. So he won't be in there. It's funny because it ends up being Denis Goltsov, Valentin Moldavsky, and then the other two, like I said, Popov and Tim Johnson sneaks in there based upon a second round knockout. That was great fight, crazy fight. We got to talk about that one instead because it was. No, I'm sorry, it was first round.
It was first round.
It was first
because of the split from the Growing shot. It seemed like it was 2 rounds.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So, but that whole thing, we'll go over it when we get to it. So, all right, we had Dakota Ditcheva against Chelsea Hackett. We knew what was going to happen. Dakota ended up being a minus 2,400 as the fight started, as far as everyone saying, look, she's got great skills, especially in the stand-up. She definitely, for a nice young lady, she's got a mean side, which I love, and she goes after people and she tries to finish them, and she does, but again, the one thing, and it's not her fault at all, but it just looks like the PFL is trying to, give her the easiest path that they can, and so putting her against Chelsea Hackett, you went and said, okay, I know what you're doing there. And, you put Liz Carmouche against Watanabe. That's the toughest fight, for both of them. And then you had, Talia Santos against Jenna Bishop. Jenna Bishop came out and fought a great fight. Made it, I didn't think it was a split decision. I thought Talia Santos won it. But, split decision means, that one of the judges went with Jenna. But, okay. But it's a matter of what's going to happen when she finally meets one of those that is in that position. Because she's going to end up meeting either Liz Carmouche or Talia Santos.
Yeah.
They're the ones on the other side of the bracket. And so what's going to happen? Is she going to be able to be as dominant with one of those? I don't think so.
Juliana Velasquez made it, right?
Juliana Velasquez made the
she's in the playoff
tournament? No,
she did not.
No. Jenna Bishop did. Jenna Bishop will be fighting Dakota. That's my point. And I thought Jenna did a great job against Santos. I thought she fought her ass off. She got tired because she was really working for things and stuff. But she looked good. But again, you're looking and saying, this is one of those ones where this is where the playoffs can work against the promotion. And I've said this for years. When I see someone win a fight and that person goes home and the person that lost goes into the playoffs, it just doesn't sit right.
What the difference is between this, like Don Davis is always saying, like, oh, it's like the NBA, it's like the NFL. Yeah, but there's also a bigger sample size of 182 games for baseball.
Yeah,
17
but it's
games
not
for
because,
football.
Josh, if you frickin' are in the NBA, you can lose in there, but you got to win 4, and you're going to win the last one. You're not going into the playoffs with that loss. I guess, in the NFL you could, or, the first game of the thing. But in the playoffs themselves, you got to win. I don't know.
But it's a bigger sample size of ups and downs throughout the season. Like especially in baseball, it's like 182 games or something. It's ridiculous.
162.
I don't even start watching until like game 162. But that they've put in they have a bigger sample size. There's not just 2 fights. Okay, now you're either in or you're out. Just doesn't. It's not making sense. And as much as I would like to support the PFL's season series type thing, it's really difficult.
I like a lot of the thought process for it, but there's just some parts that you got to look and you're going, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
But
they also need to figure out somehow on how to do the matchmaking in terms of when they first start off. You can't just pick. You've got to make it as neutral as possible.
Exactly. There needs to be, take their names, stick their names on a freaking ping pong ball, or attach their name with a number. Mm-hmm. Those balls pop out. That's who you're fighting. Yeah. There's nothing for the matchmaker to be able to coerce or to manage. It would look better. Yeah. For the actual promotion. In my mind.
I agree. Because right now you have a lot of fighters that are complaining about it. It's a game right now to them. Like they're stacking it the way they want it, and it's not a good look. It's going to take one fighter, maybe 2, to be upset with the way that the brackets are set up. And I know we've already had some come out, but you're going to turn to they're going to turn to other fighters that are thinking about leaving, like from the UFC, or thinking about leaving from one or from wherever, to come here and try to win that $1 million. And they're like, and they're going to start selling them. Stay where you're at. It's not fucking worth it. You got to be careful making sure, because there's just too much. There's betting lines on it now. There's too much. People are too involved in invested
absolutely
into making sure. And I can't have someone who doesn't know me or doesn't like me, the one matchmaking to judge my career.
To stack the deck against you.
Yeah, especially.
Doesn't mean that you won't come out on top.
Very true.
But they're making your road bumpier than they are somebody else's. It's like, no, the road should be the same.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it won't always be the same because styles make matchups.
No.
But yes.
True.
You know, you want it to be,
But
you want it to be left up
But
to
the
chance.
way that road was approached had nothing to do with somebody saying, oh, I'm going to push you to the easier road.
Yeah. And that's what they got to avoid though, too, because that's once fighters start getting wind of that and thinking that it's all set up that way, they're going to be like, nah, man, I'm not going over there then. Like, this is my livelihood. I'm not going to take my chance. I might as well just stay where I'm at and just keep making the money.
Well, and you got to be honest. They say season. The season is tough. You're doing a lot of fights, and it's, you know, sometimes it won't be tough. You know, if you're Dakota and you're winning in the first round and you're not being hurt, it's not that bad. You're just staying in training camp a long time. But, you know, fights, you get hurt, you get banged up. Some of these fights have been tough, and you've seen guys, you know, Blagoy had the fight against, you know, Bilastini. That was a great fight between those two, but it knocked both of them out.
Yeah.
Both of them couldn't make it into the next one, and you're looking. It can be tough on you.
Yeah, it's a rough road, man. Tournament series. I mean, I've done tournaments back before there was internet, and it's very difficult. It's difficult to keep going to the next one. It's difficult to just try to, you know. I remember. You remember it was a WEC. They had the Babalu won the tournament. It was in Denver. Trevor was with it. Chael was in it. Forrest Griffin, Shogun. Like, it was a stacked. I want to say it was a 16 man or 8 man.
Yeah. Was
it 8?
No,
I think it was 16.
It seemed like it was more 16.
Yeah, I think it was 16.
It was stacked.
The funniest story out of that, Babalu wins the whole thing.
Jeremy Horn was in it.
It was a stacked 185-pound tournament. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. But I remember the story behind that. It was supposed to be for $100,000, the winner. And they get in the back and they hand Babalu his check, and it's for $40,000. And he goes, no, $100,000. Like, they go, taxes, my friend, taxes. Yeah, international tax was on top of on top of the state tax. Done. That is $60,000 taken. That was horrible. I felt so bad for him. He was in probably the best shape I'd ever seen. After every fight, he had battles because he was a ground and pounder, right? He was a wrestler, ground and pound. He ended up winning the whole thing. This guy, after every fight, he would run around the arena to cool his body down. I was like, he had put a heart rate monitor, get his body back down. He was so motivated. It was so impressive to watch him perform and do all the things that he did in that tournament. It was nasty. He was a dog in that fight. And
that was the one that Jeremy Horn kicked Forrest Griffin in the head, knocked him out. Yeah.
Yep.
They had some impressive fights.
It was awesome, really, man. It was awesome. I was there at that because Trevor was there fighting that. So that was a big time. That was a big deal. Remember, what was the guy they had that had Tourette's?
Oh, Tom. God damn it, Tom. I want to say Tom Glanville. No. It's not. It's Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sauer. Yeah.
Tom Sauer.
Yep. I got some stories with him too. He was fucking hilarious.
Oh, dude, I got stories with Tom.
He's hilarious.
Dude, you go out to breakfast with Tom. It's an experience. Well, all you're saying is, I'm sorry. Yeah. He didn't mean that. Sorry, he's got Tourette's. Sorry.
I remember he fought geez, man. The one that talked a lot, the good wrestler, had a big gap in his teeth. Fought Randy Couture. Oh man, he was one of my.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Mike
Van Arsdale. How did I not remember that, dude? Mike lived with me. Jeez, man. I was thinking funny. Van Arsdale. I was
gonna say he was a teammate of yours.
Yes, he was. He lived with me. He lived in my house for I don't know years.
Oh my God,
stayed with me all the time, man. He fought Sauer in the WFA when I fought Rob McCullough. Yeah. And man, it was funny. Right at the end of the first round, Van Arsdale's having his way with him. That the bell, the clack went, and Van turned away, Van Arsdale turned away right when like he thought the round was going to end, and he got blasted with a kick to the liver and got dropped right at the bell. He's like, Bob had to like drag him to the corner, and he's like, I'm not going back out there, Bob. Just throw the towel. I'm not going back out there. The some bitch kicked me. It's over. It's over, Bob. It's over, Bob. I'm not going back out there. He's like, you get your fucking ass up and you go at your get that back out there. Oh man, it was hilarious though. Just if you guys know Mike Van Arsdale, the stuff that comes out of his mouth is it's hysterical, man. He's so funny. So funny.
Yeah. He had some incredible fights, you know, because he got knocked out in a fight that he actually won against Joe Pardo.
Yeah.
He was in the top position against Pardo, and Pardo, similar to like when Kevin Holland fought Jacare. He was on his back. Well, Pardo's on his back, and he launches a shot, and it hits Mike Van Arsdale really clean, and Mike goes, but just as Mike is going down, Pardo is trying to reach over and go into a toe hold. He's doing a toe hold on freaking Van Arsdale, who's kind of like, and finally Van Arsdale comes back and then grabs a hold of him and starts hitting him again. And it's like, you know, I don't want to stop it because, you know, he's not being hurt.
No,
nothing's happening to him, and he's still kind of there. But that was a fight. He actually, dude, he was just cranked on that one. He got starched with a shot from underneath that he didn't see, and it hurt him bad.
Mike Van Arsdale, he hated he didn't want to spar with anyone really his size. So he'd spar with like guys like Dave Velasquez. Remember Dave Velasquez who fought Jens Bowler? He'd spar with guys that size, and then he would even still tell him, "Don't kick me so hard. What are you guys doing? You trying to hurt me?" You're just thinking to yourself.
He was such an athlete,
yes,
too.
He
was built like a Greek god, man. He had this waist that was about freaking 26 inches, giant legs, big chest and shoulders.
Barrel chested. Yeah. 41 years old. Like you could see like the veins coming from his belly into his chest. You're like, geez, man, what the hell? Yeah. He just built, like you said, like a Greek god. All right, hey, let's get back to the PFL. We're off on this.
Exactly.
Okay? So I thought Dakota fought a great fight. She had to dig a little bit deep with the adversity and in the clinches and stuff a little bit. Well, there was some.
She dominated
she
that
did,
fight.
John, but
there was never a time where she wasn't in control of that fight.
She was struggling a little bit in that clinch though at some moments. Like
she likes to go to the Muay Thai.
I'm going comparison. Like, is she going to be able to do that to Liz Carmouche?
Yeah. Yes. This is where she's going to find, and it's going to be the same with Talia Santos if she ends up. Both of them are physically strong women, very strong. Liz probably a little bit stronger than Santos, but both of them are physically strong. And right now, Dakota, she's got that long, lanky, body, and she's strong. She's got leverage strength, and she uses it well. But she's using it against people that don't know how to stop what she's doing. Yeah. And those two do. And that's where I say that's where the difference is going to be seen. I'm going to be honest and say that, the matchup between Dakota and Jenna, Dakota needs to keep it standing. Jenna obviously needs to get it to the ground. We're going to see if Jenna does get it to the ground. We're going to see where Dakota's at with her groundwork, because look, she's going against somebody in Jenna Bishop who is phenomenal off of her back on the ground. She's trouble. So it's not a gimme, but she got the easiest, and that's where it says 1, 4, 2, 3. Okay. I understand it.
Do you, John?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. All right, Dennis Goltsov versus Thiago Santos.
You knew going into this, I said, Thiago, I was talking with Ian Parker. I said, Thiago's got a minute to get rid of this fight. He better use all that power. He weighed in at 241 pounds. I'm not saying it's not like he was fat, but he's not used to fighting at that weight. And when you start to push, and he knew it. He knew I've got one round that I can try to, get a win here. He took the fight knowing that. And Goltsov is just too good as far as he's got a very good stand-up game. He's got a great jab. He's got good positioning and very stifling ground attacks. This is, when people sit there and they try to, say things about, the different promotions and stuff, you can look and say, look, there's good fighters everywhere.
Mhm.
Dennis Goltsov is a good fighter. Thiago Santos is a good fighter, but he can't be up in the heavyweight division doing well without gaining the weight properly and doing it in a systematic fashion that puts him in the best, position to win. And this was definitely not the best position.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in that 205-pound tournament.
Well, he got beat. If you remember, he got beat by Yoel Romero. Yoel went up to 205, and met him in Saudi Arabia, and they did a very good job of pulling out some of the few moments that he actually connected against Yoel in that, because Yoel dominated that fight.
I wonder what's going on.
The real
with
question
Yoel.
is, where's his head?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Where is he mentally? Does he still want to do it, or is he just looking at it as a check?
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
You don't know.
Next fight.
Oh my goodness.
Liz Carmouche versus Kana Watanabe.
Kana Watanabe. There it is.
John looked like you were lost for a sec.
I was, because I couldn't remember. I thought Kana Watanabe fought a phenomenal fight. Because if you look at the first one she went out there against Liz, and Liz, starched her in about 35 seconds or so, 31 seconds. And, Kana was in that position of, well, what do I do? Well, what you do is close that gap and get into the grappling where you are someone that's got a lot of skill. She's got skill there, but you don't want to get into that stand-up war with her. You don't want to be touched by her power. Well, that's your way. Yeah. And she went and did it. And she was winning that fight. I actually thought that I had it Liz up going into, I had it even going into the third round. And I thought Liz was winning the third round for a while, and then Kana started coming on.
Yep.
And so it could have been that Kana was going to win that fight, based on my score too. But the judges all had Kana winning the first 2 rounds.
Oh, wow. So
Liz was behind in that when she caught that arm bar with 8 seconds left.
Wow. I mean, this is another reason not to just sit there and expect it, thinking that you won. Oh, I won the first round. Oh, and I won the third. You can't think like that. You've got to think to yourself, at any moment, I got to be trying to get this finish. Every chance I get, every opportunity, even when there's short time. That's also too at the end of a fight like that, where, you feel like somebody has to try a little bit harder. They're going to leave themselves open a little bit more, trying to get the finish, trying to land the harder shots to finish off the round, to potentially win them that round. So good for her on trying to get to the finish, getting it done. But man, so who are the ones that are in? So Watanabe's out too.
So Watanabe's out.
Okay.
So now you have Dakota as the number 1 seed. You have Jenna Bishop as the number 4 seed. Okay. They match up, and you have Liz Carmouche and Talia Santos. Santos being number 2, Liz being number 3. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Oh, well, John, I don't know.
Well, let's talk. What did you think of the Santos versus Bishop fight? I mean, if you take a look, I thought Bishop fought as good a fight as she could have. I thought it was well executed. Yeah. She would get to the ground. She just wasn't able to lock things up. Santos was too good defensively and with a lot of it. But I really was impressed by someone. If you're looking at Jenna Bishop, who was in that at 7-0. The experience factor, obviously, Santos had 23 fights, had fought for the UFC title against Shevchenko, lost the split decision. She had fought the better competition by far, way more. And I thought Jenna Bishop actually handled herself very well in that fight.
This was the fight that I was actually thinking of, John, when I was telling you about, instead of Chelsea Hackett having a good. That's what I was thinking of, because Jenna Bishop actually closed the distance, was able to kind of look like she was able to get her down a couple of times, got reversed on some of the takedowns on the way down. Yep. I was thinking to myself, I was thinking of that fight. Sorry, instead. That's why I was like, wait, it wasn't as. Anyways,
no, it was a one-way.
But
crushing.
Santos has so much more experience, and I'm not going to take Bishop's sides. I thought she did really well. She's got to be a little bit more relaxed with the stand-up. You could tell she seemed a little lost out there.
Which got her tired.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Dakota hits as hard as Santos.
I don't know.
She's faster, I think.
I know she's got more length.
Yeah.
I know that she actually fires things off in better combinations. Santos tends to, instead of throwing 1, 2, 3s, she'll throw 1, 1, 2s, and she'll slow it down to a point. But in what I know that Santos is better on the ground than what you're going to expect out of Dakota right now. Because Dakota could be phenomenal on the ground, but you really haven't seen it. What you've seen is her in the top position doing ground and pound. Yeah. Dakota right now has got all, what I want to say, 9 stoppages out of her 12 fights, something like that. What does she have? I'm going to take a look real quick. She's got.
She's very electric with her.
She's got 10.
She's got 10 finishes.
10. Yeah. And 11 finishes total. As far as she's got 1 sub in the first round. So
I mean, Dakota's good. She's long. She's got some speed. Her fight IQ on the feet is very high. Ripping the body, kicking to the body, doing all this. She's mixing.
Goes to the body so well.
She's doing a great job of mixing that all up. Someone like Jenna Bishop, though, is like, if she gets this thing to the ground, it's going to be a completely different fight.
Trouble.
And if she gets to the ground early, that will make Dakota a little bit more hesitant on the feet, because like, oh man, I don't want to get stuck on the ground for the whole second round too. And these are also 3-round fights. You only really got to try to ink out those first 2 rounds, right? It's a sprint. It's a, let me get this down, put all my energy into getting this fight to the ground so I can control you. If I get to your back, I mean, I could win the whole round just by hanging out on the back, trying to hit finishes and just staying there in a safe zone. So anyways, look, I think that Jenna Bishop showed me a lot against Santos, who has a lot of experience over her, way high level competition. But Jenna didn't seem like she was scared at all. She was pushing the pace. We're going to see exactly how well she can get this fight to the ground, though. She was able to do stuff against Santos to get her down, but she also just, at moments, lapsed like in the process of getting to the ground and got stepped over, got reversed on the way down, or when they hit the ground, got reversed. You got to follow that all the way through to the ground. Those are things that where people, they get, I got the takedown, they relax as they hit the ground, and the person just puts a foot in, hook sweeps, and ends up on top. You're like, you wasted all that energy trying to get it there. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing, I just got to go back to Dakota had the easier way and the easier route. And it's unfortunate for people like Juliana Velasquez not to be in there,
Yeah. Juliana had a very nice fight. And we'll talk about it in a second. But got Oleg Popov against Davion Franklin. Davion went the 3 rounds. I give him credit. He fought his ass off. A lot of big time energy burns in when you flipping him over the top, and you look and you go, you can only do that a couple of times until all of a sudden your opponent says, okay, I know what he's going to try to do. It's going to, be tougher to do, and your energy is going to be a little bit less. And, but I give Davion Franklin, he's a big, powerful guy. It's guys that can take him down and control him on the ground, do well against him. And then they tire him out, and Popov is that guy. And Popov's done it now, 18 times in his career with 18. He's 18-1. He can wrestle. And he's good at keeping people down.
Yeah, I know he's good. I think with Davion Franklin, like when he tried to finish out, I think the first round with the flying knees and the big jumps, and I was like, oh, here we go, buddy. Here we go. Like you don't recover like a lightweight does in between rounds. You can't be pushing out that amount of energy right before.
No, about you, man. You got to give him credit. He was there even at the end.
Yeah.
He was. He was tired. His arms were dead, but he was working. So. Tyrell Fortune taking on Marcelo Golm. Tyrell Fortune dominated the fight for the most part. His wrestling looked good. When he would, it's funny. You talk about the takedowns and the double legs and things like that. There's not many people that can hit their knees and get a double leg takedown. Okay. That's why, Jordan Burroughs is special. Okay. He's the guy that can do it. He's got that. He can hit knees and blast forward still and go. That's not what you're going to see. But when you saw Tyrell Fortune, every time his knees would hit and they would stay, you didn't get that takedown. Every time he would, knees are close or they bump and he's up and he's driving, he got the takedown. and he's got that ability. He can use his wrestling against a lot of people. You say it all the time. A lot of heavyweights can't wrestle, and that wrestling can come in to play in your favor is if you're doing it right. And so don't give up on it.
And even the ones that
don't
can wrestle,
they
can't get up off their back. Majority of them, like in the jiu-jitsu world, they're not very good at getting off their back. They're good at bellying down, but that's not what you're going to do in an MMA fight. You know what I mean? Like,
but it is different, and this is what it's like. You have 155 pounds on you, 170 pounds on you, and you bump, it moves. You put 260 pounds on and you bump, it doesn't move that much.
No.
And it makes a huge difference in, how, getting up. There's ways to get up. You got to do it a little bit different. You can't do it like.
Yeah, there was that one time, like when you fell on me in the cage, I just kind of bumped you off me real quick. And I was like, okay, I did the underhook and I came up to my knees right away. I didn't want, you were bouncing around on one foot when I had the single, so I didn't want to break your ankle.
You must have done that so fast.
At your age, if you break a hip, it could be over. it could really be over. Miss McCarthy may not like me after that.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, next fight.
All right, we had Lara Joanne against Shayna Young. Good fight. Fun fight as far as Lara Joanne. She's going after big shots all the time. Shayna Young, she was tough. Took a lot of shots, but not really that competitive a fight. The one that was the unusual one, Tim Johnson against Danilo Marques. This had a knockout. Well, a knockdown at the same time as a groin strike. Tim Johnson went down like he was shot.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate. If you look at it, Tim Johnson got screwed out of winning the fight right there. Because that fight would have been over probably if he was able to follow up. Danilo Marques was hurt. And he's standing up and acting like he's a winner because he doesn't even remember he doesn't remember landing the low kick. All he sees is his opponent on the ground dying. And, Tim Johnson doesn't even realize that he landed that shot because he's in pain from the groin crushing. But, it was one of the things that happened that Todd Anderson was the referee, and he did an outstanding job of controlling the calmness of the situation and manipulating the time to give Johnson everything. But what he didn't do was make it fair, because Danilo Marques made it out of a bad situation from a foul. Can't have
it.
So
how would he make it fair?
Take points.
Okay.
You need to take points from him in that situation because he gained something. What did he gain?
But that was very accidental, though, John.
It doesn't matter or not. A foul, you can take points for an accidental foul, or you cannot. And most of the time, we're not going to, because you didn't gain something other than your opponent is hurt. We'll give them time to recover to try to bring it back. And so if it's in that fashion, most of the time it's going to be a warning. He gained the fact that he was able to stay in a fight that he was probably going to be out of. If he didn't land that foul, Tim Johnson wouldn't have been hurt. Tim Johnson would have been able to follow up and lay a lot of ground and pound like he did at the end of the fight and put him out. Now, is that 100%? You can't say it's 100%, but there's a good likelihood to it. So in this position, you as the referee, you've got to try to level the playing field. You got one guy who he landed a knockout shot and he can't follow up because he was fouled. You got one guy who almost got knocked out and he landed a foul that gave him time to recover from it. I got to level that out. And the way to do it is by taking a point. He probably should have taken the point. It's the only thing I would say that would, made it different. But Tim Johnson ended up coming back after the unofficial first round breakage into the second round, which is still the first round. And he put Danilo Marques. And the reason he put Danilo Marques out is he was still hurt. You get hit with a big shot, it'll affect you if you get hit by a smaller shot later on. It did. And, he couldn't maintain his ability to keep Tim off him. Tim laced the one arm and it was over. And he took some big shots after it. So Tim gave him some payback, even though he wasn't trying.
Yeah. Next fight.
Juliana Velasquez against Lisa Mauldin. This one just showed, there's levels to everything. Nothing against Lisa Mauldin, but she's not the person that should have been in that tournament from the beginning. She's a decent fighter. When she's going up against good fighters, you can see the difference. And when you see a professional fighter starting to shy away from their opponent, turn away, just cover, it's like, nope.
Yep.
Levels.
How did Sumiko do? I didn't see the fight.
It was a good fight. Sumiko really came out on fire and was lighting Orozco up. And I'll give it to Orozco. She got, went back to the corner. They lit into her as far as you've got to get into her. She went after Sumiko at that point. Did not shy away, and she was getting hit with some really good shots. Crushed the space on it a lot and made a fight out of it. And I thought Sumiko won, but Orozco really came out in the second, third rounds and made it very close.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk. And hey, the UFC and PFL talk is brought to you by BetUS. We'll make sure you guys hit the link down below. Give you 125% on your first 3 deposits there.
Boom. Directly
from us. It's our gift to you guys. Right?
Yeah.
BetUS. So I want to make sure you guys hit that link down below. Head on over there if you guys are interested in seeing what the next sport books are like and what the odds are like. Go ahead and check them out. And we will be doing some breakdowns later this week for this weekend's fight cards as well. So we're going to have some fun with this, man.
My farm needs the earth, the air, and the water. I get my energy going on Element Electrolyte Drink Mix. Clean, good-tasting energy that feeds me like I feed my plants and animals. And after a long day on the tractor, when it's time to shoot the podcast, I drink Element so that I can stay energized and stay salty. Let's get it on.
Let's go ahead and jump right into the UFC.
Look, the UFC had, in my opinion, this was the coming out party for Tatsuro Taira. Not that, we haven't seen him before, not that we didn't know he was good, but he was the main event. And they're trying to highlight how good he is. And going into this, we thought Alex Perez had a good shot against him as far as, he's got good stand-up. He's got good hands. And overall, you got to give it, man. Taira just is. He's good. He's very calm in the stand-up. He looks for the grappling situations, and when he gets into them, he's outstanding with what he's doing. The kid is composed. I mean, for a young man, because he's 24 years of age, he's incredibly composed and skillful and just very calm, thinks his way through situations, does, good work, throwing combinations and backs himself out, exits and lands shots. He did a lot of great things in that. He was, in my opinion, very impressive. He should be impressive to the fans to where they'd want to see him fight again. He's talking about wanting to get a shot at the title, be the first Japanese UFC champion. Hey, he could definitely be that guy. He's that talented.
I was just going to ask you that. Would he be the first Japanese UFC champion ever?
Yes, he would.
Gosh, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
Never been a Japanese UFC champion, which is, there's been some great Japanese fighters. Never had that guy that was able to get the title.
Interesting. I've also noticed he's 20. Did you say he's 24 years old?
Yeah.
I've also noticed that I feel like the generation of the 28, 29, 30, 31, those fighters, it's now starting to become the best fighters. Not the best, but the real standout ones are that 24, 25, 26. That they're lowering the level of their prime.
Well, the reason why is they're starting out younger.
Yes.
They're starting out when, they're not starting out when they're, 18 years old or 21 years old. They're starting out when they're 10 years old, 12 years old. And they're good. I mean, talent-wise and skill-wise, and you just look at everything. And it's a matter of you take that and now you put it with someone that is just tough as hell. and doesn't give in, oh, you got a problem.
Yeah, you look at Taira, man. He's composed out there. It doesn't seem like anything bothers him. He takes whatever comes at him. He took some shots from Perez. He was able to deliver them right.
Good shots.
Deliver them right back. He knew where his comfort zone was. Kept trying to go to the tie clinch, and then get into the mix. Like, he was doing a good job of nullifying everything that Perez was doing. And like in the grappling world, I think he's levels above Perez in the grappling. And it's, especially in the scrambling to positions, like he was on the back or he was like on the hips almost the whole time, making sure that he was taking away his power, not giving Perez a chance to really hit him with a clean shot, that would put him out. So he fights a very smart fight. I mean, I'm looking at it though. Let's see. Let's look at these rankings here, John. I mean, you've got Pantoja, Moreno, Albazi, Kai Kara France. He just beat Perez, so he's going to jump up quite a bit. So he was at 13. Now he's going to be at number 5, somewhere in there. I mean, I honestly would like to see him fight someone like a Mokaev. B's and beans, because Mokaev is almost all wrestling. And would the jiu-jitsu combat the wrestling? Would the two of them be forced to stand a little bit more? Like, could he stop Mokaev's wrestling enough, or at least threaten the submission enough to where Mokaev now has got to stay standing? It makes for
it's a great matchup.
Because he may leapfrog Mokaev, or he might be now below and Mokaev will go up one and he'll be number 6. So that would make for a good fight. What's going on with Kai Kara France? Still injured out?
Yeah, he's been called out by several fighters to fight, but he's had the injury and you don't know exactly how bad it is.
Yeah.
And he needs to take his time, come back when you're healthy, and that's being smart. So
I agree. Next fight.
We had Miles Johns going against Da Silva de Andrade, and good fight. Mm-hmm. A lot of these fights, it was funny because the main event was a stoppage, but a ton of judges' decision after decision after decision.
I mean, I was in the car for 12 hours, so I had nothing else to do but watch. But John, I was like scrolling through on ESPN because you can see, I was like, hey, I always watch which ones are the finishes. I watch those ones first. Yeah. And I was like, wait, none of these are finishes.
I want to say there was 4 finishes.
Yeah,
seven judges' decisions.
You expect
that's a lot.
You expect these cards though to be the finishes, like the main event. Yes. Like when you get pay-per-views and stuff. Like, sure, you'd like to see finishes, but the fights are so tightly contested that you expect decisions or tough.
It's hard to get rid of a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. But in these lower level UFC fight nights, you're expecting one fighter to really stand out. I didn't see that a lot. I mean, Taira did. He did. There was
his and you got it. We didn't say anything about it. Perez ended up. It's a TKO loss for Perez, based upon the knee injury. But the knee injury is part of. He was taking the back. He did a nice job. He laced that through, and when Alex Perez fell back, that foot's there and acted like a wedge on that knee, and I'm sure it probably did some damage to Perez's knee, and I'm sorry that happened to him. But a lot of people were sitting there questioning, was it TKO? Was it a submission? There was no submission hold.
I was.
So it would be a TKO.
I was questioning it.
It's a TKO based upon an injury, and it's an injury that happened. It's not self-inflicted. It, happened during the fight based upon both bodies involved, but nothing illegal. And so.
Yeah, but if it was something, I looked at it as like the reason why I was asking whether it was TKO or if it was submission, because he was trying to pull him back that way. He was like leaning back and like kind of jerking him back a little bit. That led to the injury, which means that could be considered a submission. I mean, okay.
Well, I want you to think about this.
Yeah.
So I go and you and I are fighting, and you push me, just push me. And I fall and my shoulder separates. Was there a submission?
No, but you submitted to me because I pushed you over and you fell.
I didn't submit to you.
The doctor saved your life because I was about to smash
No, the referee saved my life.
Whatever, same thing.
But there's no submission. If there's a submission hold, it would be called a submission.
Yeah.
If there's not, it's a TKO based upon an injury.
But see, a push is not the same as me having your back and grapevining your leg and then trying to like get you to rock back. I mean, what if that's in his mind? Like, obviously he's worked it before.
I have him in a submission. Is that what you're saying?
He
So what submission was it?
You could just call it.
You're
It was
a
the
black
knee.
belt,
It was
right?
it was knee submission.
Oh.
One you've never seen. It was one you've never seen, John. Like that's the thing.
Oh, dude, there it
How
is.
do you
I
know what
love
the
that.
submission is until you've seen it?
Until you see, we're gonna call it the Thompson.
Yeah, no, well, he did it, so I'm going to give him the credit. I'll
Okay,
give
okay.
it to Taira.
All right, we'll call it the Taira.
Yeah, very good.
We'll call it the TT.
No, I mean, I feel bad for Perez because, those are the things
So do
that
I.
they suck, man. I had a guy that jumped on me during training, Billy Evangelista, and it was right after I
remember
beat,
Billy.
right after I beat Gilbert for the title. He was my I was training for Gilbert again in a rematch, and it was our last week of training. It was actually supposed to be my last hard sparring, and he jumped onto my back and like pulled me backwards and basically broke my ankle. So I've got a plate in my ankle with 9 screws. Yeah. He didn't even have my back. He just had his arms around my waist and he just jumped in behind me and put his feet
See?
behind my shins, behind my knees.
It's always those AKA guys.
He was training out of Fresno, man. He just and the shit part was he came up just for that training, like just spar with me that week, and I was like, "You son of a..." Cost me a lot of money.
In the end, that's the problem.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Miles Johns versus Silva de Andrade. Good fight.
It was a good fight. It was, Miles John using his wrestling, trying to use his wrestling at times, using his stand-up as far as power. He's that guy that all of a sudden he's the explosive and gets out and stuff. I thought de Andrade thought he won that fight. He looked very disappointed. I'm not saying he did, but he definitely thought he did. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell what his corner's telling him. It's in Portuguese and stuff.
The thing was that Johns didn't do a lot. He landed the harder, cleaner shots, but he just didn't do it enough. And so I could kind of see like, hey, I was more active. Hey, I pushed the pace more. Hey, I did this, I did that. But you didn't land as much as you should have. And and you've got to really try to stamp your name on this guy. Like he should have done when he was active, John, he was having success. When he decided
he was doing great.
Yeah, when he didn't pull the trigger and he fought off of his back foot and let John push him around, he didn't do well at all. So that's what the judges are going to see. Lucas Almeida versus Timothy Cuamba.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, Lucas Almeida looked as good as
he did.
I think I've ever seen him look. He looked great. He was, it was one of those ones. He was on point. His timing was there. His distance control. I felt bad for Timmy Cuamba because he's a good fighter. Man, he's a tough guy. He just had no answers.
There was nothing there.
But he hung in there. Man, he hung in there and he was taking, dude, he's one of those ones. The next day when you see him, he ain't looking too good. There's a whole lot of bruising and a whole
walking with a limp. He's got
sunglasses are on.
He's got a hat on.
Yep.
Yeah.
But man, I tell you what, he fought a tough fight. I give him credit, but Lucas really looked good in this fight. Nice. This is the next one is the one.
Yeah.
This was a great fight. Fun. They both, are very similar. Brady, Hiestand against Garrett Armfield. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It had a finish, and it had a finish, that was in the third round. But this was a back and forth battle, and they blasted each other at times. They did some, really good work on the feet, did some good work on the ground. It was all over the place. All I'm saying is, Brady, you cannot have too many of those.
Yeah.
You can't have too many of those, brother. You gotta learn to defend that chin just a little bit better, because he is young. But man, I tell you, you can only crash that car so many times before the car doesn't run the same.
Well, John, this fight started off both of them having really tight submissions in the first round. It was like back to back.
Dude, that arm,
yeah,
dude, it was. That it was, popping.
Yep. And then went right from
not a doubt about it.
Right from that to the guillotine, right? The guillotine, and then later in the fight, obviously the finishing move. But I like that they were chasing it. They were trying to get it out of there.
They were going.
I saw with the Miles Johns fight, just
best fight of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw with the Miles Johns fight, very conservative. Let me land one. Okay, I'm winning now. Let me land another. Okay, now I have a little bit of a lead. Like you're counting the strikes that you've landed in your head, and I'm not going to go outside of that box. It's upsetting, especially when you're the co-main. You got to get after it. These two guys, Hiestand and Armfield, man, they chased it. They went after it.
Oh.
It was a great fight. Definitely, I thought it was definitely fight of the night. It was fun to watch.
Great fight by the two. Got to give them both credit because, that was not just a one-way battle.
No.
That thing, either guy could have won that. So very nice.
Next fight.
I tell you what, Almabayev against Jose Johnson, excuse me. I see that now. It's, Jose Aldo. Interesting fight, really. It was the wrestling of Almabayev against Johnson trying to catch him off of his back and stuff. And he was consistent in believing that he could do it. You could see that. And it's like, if things don't happen the second time you try, it's kind of like that whole insanity thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna try it again. Okay, what was the results the first 2 times? If he got out the first 2 times, it's probably telling you it's probably not going to work the third time. And we've had fighters that we've seen do this and go back to the same submission over and over and over, and you go, man, try something, try a different approach.
Yep.
And I think Johnson's a good fighter. He's interesting. He's long, super tall for the weight class and everything, but needs to have, the ability to change up what he's doing in the fight when things are not going the way he thinks they were going.
One of the worst things that can happen to you in a fight is in that very first round, you get something really deep and you weren't able to finish it and you think it's going to happen again. You keep chasing it. He kept chasing that triangle because he had it so deep in the first. And I, in my mind, I'm like, all you do is push the arm across. Push the arm
over.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, he kept letting him straighten his arm.
He's grabbing the head. I go, the arm's not there to press the head against. What are you doing?
Then if you're gonna battle in that position, then switch to the arm bar. When he goes to stack you back up, go right back to the triangle. I was just like in my mind, like, what are you doing? Like, and then when he got back to the corner, he's like, and they said, it's no more submissions. He's like, oh no, I can catch him.
I know. You knew right there. Like,
I think you've been watching too much Dustin Poirier, buddy. Okay, I'm gonna get it.
Don't be silly. Jump that Gilly.
I'm just So like, but let's just be honest, right? Dustin can get away with that. He's fought the who's who of it all. He can do what he wants. You got to work on it, buddy. Like those. Look, I love the confidence. So you got to believe in your grappling. But you also got to remember the whole mindset should always be sit up, sweep. Sweep, submit, get up, or
sweep, submit, get up.
Yeah, it's got to be in that type of format. You've got to, you try one, doesn't work, try the next, doesn't work. Okay, get back into your feet and try to reapproach the whole game altogether. But Almabayev, I thought it looked good, fought a good game plan, understood where he needed.
Good wrestling.
Yeah, he's got great wrestling, good top pressure. Leaves himself a little open to be triangled, by reaching too much.
Oh, yeah.
But Johnson couldn't finish it, so it doesn't matter. That's really what it came down to. Go ahead.
Yeah, Adam Fugitt against Josh Quinlan. What'd you think of this fight?
Fugitt is somebody who should be able to push a little bit harder, a little bit pace, and Quinlan is someone who, I don't know, just
lets the fight get away from him.
He just didn't do enough. Like not just didn't do enough, but just wasn't. I'm trying to say this in a nice way.
If you have that much energy at the end of the fight, couldn't you have used some of it in that fight? Done a little bit more, because it was a close fight. And there was times when Quinlan was doing really well, and then he would slow down, and the combinations became ones. And the volume output became way less.
But let me go back to the co-main, John. It's the same thing. When you're counting your strikes, you're thinking you're ahead by a little bit, or you're just thinking like, okay, I've done enough this round. You start, and I know I've done this myself as a fighter. Okay, I'm ahead a little bit now. Okay, I'm good. Okay, I'm ahead. I won that round. Like, you can't do that. That's the biggest kryptonite is that. Don't do that to yourself. Just go out there and let the fight develop in front of you and make it happen too. Don't always force it and push it, but understand where you're at in the round. Okay, it's 2 minutes in. Okay, I got to be a little more active. Okay, there's 1 minute left. I got to make sure I still this round. I got to get after it a little bit harder.
Got to get on my horse.
Yeah, you've got to do those type of things. It's a constant battle. You guys are listening at home. Fighters are in there. They're not just thinking, I'm going to punch this guy and don't let this guy punch me. It's a constant battle with themselves in their mind about what they're seeing, what they should do, when they should go, when they shouldn't. Okay, circle, stay away. Like we're constantly battling with ourselves. And Quinlan, I think, is someone who just was tallying up the marks like Miles Johns was. Just tallying up the marks going, okay, look, I've got enough. I did this, I did that. You can't let the fights happen that way. You can't. You never leave it to the judges. You can't. You know, I've been sorry a couple of times leaving it to the judges.
Good look at it.
Yeah.
It's a good look at it.
You know, next fight.
Nate Maness against Jimmy Flick. I will say this: if a fight's going to go to a decision, I want to see one that's like this, because Jimmy Flick was going for it the whole time, and Nate was just the better fighter. You could see that he could stop what Flick was doing, and just continued to build and put more and more on him. But Flick, even though he was getting damaged, never quit, never stopped, never gave in, never gave up hope. This was a really good fight. I really enjoy watching Maness fight.
Yeah.
I know they say Maness, but I've always heard that it was Maness.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is right. But he can fight, man. At 125 pounds, he's long.
Yeah.
For that weight class. I don't know, how if he's going to be able to stay with it and stuff. But goddamn, man, some bitch can fight, and he can fight everywhere. He's got good stand up. He goes to the body well. He's got a good ground game, because Jimmy Flick's got a really good ground game. This was Kentucky versus Oklahoma. This is definitely the Midwest showdown. But a really good job by both guys, I thought.
I was watching the fight down there with Weston Willis versus Jekka Saragih. How do you say his last name? Saragih?
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know. Anyways, Jekka came out like he was going to just run through Wilson.
Yes.
And just came out with like a sense of arrogance, cockiness, with the big slam on the triangle attempt, put himself into it.
I agree.
Like the way he was, when he was getting introduced, like he just had this feeling of like, I'm the red corner. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to do this. And went out there and fought so dumb. Just the pickup and the slam and a triangle. I mean, like if you've trained jiu-jitsu at
put
all,
himself deeper,
all you're doing is making it tighter. Unless you've got a Quentin Rampage Jackson type Arona slam.
See, there's a difference between picking somebody up and being with them still, basically horizontal with the ground, and then bringing them down, or bringing them up and having that pendulum effect. There's a whole lot more velocity, and that's going to hurt someone a whole lot more.
This was not that. This was a let me just slide my arm across for you and put it in even deeper.
Yeah.
But I thought Weston Wilson took it good. Like, hey, he understood where he was at in the triangle.
Yeah, kept his head up off the canvas, didn't let his head slam. Yep. Bowed his back on it. Very nice job. Very nice. Knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah.
Any other fights on here you want to chat about?
I want to say that I thought that the Carly Judice versus Fernandes. I like Carly Judice. I think she's going to be really good. She reminds me of Dakota Ditcheva.
Okay.
She's got mean stand up. She's tenacious. She goes after people. That girl's going to be really good. She's going to be fun to watch. I know she lost, but she's really going to be good.
You want the ones that come out and lay it on the line and have some fun out there. Those are the ones. And those are the ones that are going to grow the most, especially now when they get into the UFC and they're like, okay, look, I can do this. Okay, the hard part's over. I went out there under the bright lights, had a great fight, came up short. Sure, now I can grow from it. So good on that. All right, guys. Hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. And before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. Hit the subscribe button down below and hit the little bell notifications. John and I be rocking this show quite a bit. Sorry we were late, but Father's Day weekend, family time with the sons and the kids and the traveling, all this stuff. And so, that's going to happen a little bit more probably in this next month or so, just because of summertime and things like that. So plus a couple of jobs John's got to actually work for a living. And so, but we want to thank you guys so much for always continuing to support our channel and share our content wherever you can out there, please. And look, I'm also looking for someone to do me a favor. Please hit me up in my comments at The Real Punk, or you guys can leave a comment there on our channel. I'm looking for someone to design a logo for a podcast that I'm working on. And if you guys can, I'd like to see what you guys can come up with as fans. If you guys are interested in submitting your logo, something for us, I'll give you guys details on it. And would love to see what you guys can come up with in terms of artwork for it to be used as a logo for a podcast that I'm working on. So I want to thank you guys so much. And once again, thank you to Element for always keeping me salty. I love it. Great product. Check the link down below. Okay, hit up their stuff, especially with the summertime coming up. It is hot outside. It's 98 degrees here today. Little wind, little breeze, little light sprinkling too while it's 98 degrees. But it's been great. Great to be back. You know, Denver was windy and hot, and I got a little windburn on my forehead. I'm sure you guys can tell. There's not as many wrinkles as John, but it's
Shit, I look like a Sharpay.
But yeah, head on, use our link down below, and every purchase you guys buy from Element through our link, they will send you over some free some free packets.
Product.
Yeah, promo packets.
Product.
So content. What did I say? Content. What am I supposed to say?
Product.
There you go. Gosh, John,
whatever.
Take it away, buddy. Gotta wrap that up.
Oh my God. Well, like the one thing I want to say is Element has been fantastic for the heat. I don't know if I'm going to drink as much of it when it's wintertime, but in the heat, man, it makes you feel better.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. It's a weird thing that when you drink, it's like, I feel pretty good, and it's stay salty. I love the slogan with it, and they've been fantastic. So if you haven't tried it, I would suggest go for the packets. I know that the cans are cool. The one that he's drinking is really cool and stuff, but the packets are the way to go, man. You got a water bottle, stick that packet in one water bottle. It's easy to shake up. It doesn't, get all clumpy or anything like that. And you can down the whole thing in one gulping, and you will feel better. It is better than the sodas and everything like that. It's better than just the pure water. Try Element, man. You're going to really love it.
There's no sugar. Zero sugar, 1,000 milligrams of sodium.
Not like other ones.
Yeah, not like
and magnesium, which is super important.
200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, 1,000 milligrams of sodium. Stay salty. People that keep telling you that salt's bad for you, they're lying. It's good for your body. It's good for your nutrition. It's good for.
Is it not crazy what people have? We've been told about all these different things, and now it's all coming out to be bullshit.
Yes. Got to follow the science, buddy. But one last thing though, before we go though, John, you're doing your refereeing seminar in
July, end of July,
and that is going to be Extreme Couture.
It will be in Las Vegas at Extreme Couture. You want to go to MMAreferee.com so you can look up what it's about and what you can learn. When you see all these guys that are out there, you go, I'm better than them. Or if you have people like Tank Abbott saying that you're a crooked, you can prove that you're not. Go ahead and take a look at it. You will learn everything that you need to know. Well, maybe not everything, but you'll learn a lot of what you need to know, and then you'll build upon that with all the things that you're going to have to do to get to that point. But if you want to be an MMA official, either judge or referee, go to MMAreferee.com. Take a look at the command program. July will be the first course I've done in a long time.
July what?
July 26th through the 28th.
And that's at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas.
That's at Extreme Couture.
You guys, don't miss out, man. Look, I want you guys to all go there and attend. The reason why is so then when you guys actually start getting in there and seeing exactly how difficult it is to make those decisions on the fly, you guys will be in the comments saying, man, I'm so sorry. Stop complaining about the refs. Stop complaining about the judging. Okay. We're going to have some fun with it. I wish we could get the we can get guys like Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping and those guys into the training too.
Oh, dude, I might call Michael. Say, hey, come on, man! You're always questioning stuff. Here you go.
I like Michael.
Except Michael outed me. That's some bitch.
What did he do?
I told him something. We were together, and I tell him something in confidence, and he comes out on his podcast and says, "Well, John McCarthy said this." Well, damn, Mike, you weren't supposed to
These
say
fighters
that.
Can't
was
be trusted.
told to me. It was told to me in confidence, and I was like, okay. And I'm like, oh, hey, this is what because we were talking about Connor. Was he going to make the fight? And I said, look, he's not going to make the fight. He's injured. And I told him, what I was told, and all of a sudden he's telling people,
John,
what the hell, Josh?
John, I'm telling you, buddy, they're not all like me, man. These hoes ain't loyal.
That's it. Man.
They're not all like me, brother. These hoes ain't loyal. Shit. I love me some Michael Bisping. I know he probably doesn't like me, but I like him. He's a nice guy.
Michael's a great guy. He is absolutely. You talk about a guy that's been through a ton. What was telling me the other day?
Are you sure you're supposed to be telling me this?
Yeah, I can say this. Okay. I think I can say this. Maybe I shouldn't say it. Well, he had the incident in New Orleans where a guy punched him.
Uh-huh.
And he was with his family, right? And he actually came out saying, he goes, I didn't even know I got hit. That's how light the guy, punched and stuff. But he went home to see his family in England, Manchester area, and he said there was a guy that actually came up to him and said, "You see that scar on your thing?" He says, "I gave you that," right? And he goes, "Yeah. Well, I'm here with my family." And his family's going out, and these guys are and a guy takes a sucker punch at him and blasts him. Right? I go, Mike, what is it? He goes, I don't know. It is, right? People are idiots.
It's not easy, man. It's not easy.
Yeah, people are idiots.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get randoms that'll walk up.
Because what happens when Michael throws back?
Oh, he's gonna get arrested, or he's gonna get charged,
and he's gonna get sued.
Something's gonna.
They're gonna say, "Oh yeah, you can't win."
Yeah, you can't win. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's gonna wrap up our Bellator PFL talk. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this show. Once again, hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you guys so much for being patient. Happy Father's Day to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the time with your family and your kids.
Belated Father's Day.
And belated Father's Day. Happy belated Father's Day. All right, but we deserve more than one day.
We do
deserve more than one day. Let's go.
Yeah.
And John, we will see ya.
See ya.